We've been rolling this whole time? Awesome sauce. So, I said to you before, and you were helping me during the World Cup, and Jonathan was worse.
Yep.
You were slightly better, but I no longer take betting advice from you.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'm on a losing streak right now.
It has not been helpful, and Danny, who just got here, has been draining my betting bankroll like crazy with his inside tips. So I've been off betting for a while.
Inside.
Yeah, cold turkey until the NBA playoffs start because I'm on a losing streak myself, and I don't lose. I like to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think in my situation, like I win every time because I don't bet,
Yeah, but once you get deep enough, you got to win it back, and you're just climbing.
It's a terrible cycle.
It sounds awful.
Today's guest is somebody that, I'm going to be honest, took me a while
to like.
Right? But now I love the kid. We just said with one of the episodes, I have 7 kids. I wrote a personal card to him the holidays, let him know that I think of him like a son and
Sweet
someone
baby
I love.
Mike.
Yeah, someone I love to mentor. And Mike, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast today. You're somebody you took some time to grow.
Mm-hmm. I did.
But man, you are on fire right now. You are growing like crazy.
Like imagine when I first started doing this would have been like unthought of, right? Just being able to like over this time, you've helped me, I guess, grow as a person and be more comfortable talking. And I'm really thankful for that as well.
Oh man, I love you, bro. Like it's been one of those, we had a moment, we're sitting face to face on your review and I was like, yo, what are you doing?
That was the make or break.
Like, why are you running? And I make this joke, are you running home at 4:45 to put chicken fingers in the oven for dinner? Like, where are you going, man? You're a young man. What are your goals? What do you want to do? You can do so much more. You're likable. Where's the switch? And you told me right in that meeting, I'm flipping it. And you backed that up.
I flipped it.
You flipped it. It's impressive. I get lots. Like Ali's told me 100 times she's going to flip that switch.
And what's going on there?
Okay, so I realized that sitting in this position on this particular podcast, I'd be at a disadvantage because there's a huge bromance going on. But let's remember who brought you to the team.
Yes, yeah.
To allow you to flourish and be a part of the bromance.
Wow.
She was the first one to interview me when I first started.
She came right out too. I remember. We'll touch on that. Let's go back first on history because we say this in the recent episodes. There's no way you ran out of high school, threw your books in the air and said, I can't wait to be a mortgage agent.
No, not a chance. So actually out of high school, I took a year off because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Right. So I got into trades, did electrical for a bit.
Yeah, right. You were doing electrical.
Wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Right. It was a very like independent, not a lot of talking with like the coworkers and such. Right. So it was kind of like put my headphones in, went to the suite because I was working on like a high-rise building. Right.
Okay. So
I'd go to the unit, right? I would do my wiring, headphones in, didn't speak to anyone, go downstairs, end of the day, go home, right? It's just very like depressing, I guess. Like I miss like that human connection that I had at Fido when I was doing that, right?
Yeah.
I also worked at Fido, right, with sales and such, and that was more of like a team scenario, right, where like everyone worked together, is very hands-on with everyone, and that's what I miss from that. So, in that time doing electrical, my brother was actually working for a company called Treasure Hill, right?
Okay,
it's like a construction company, building and such. And he was getting into actually real estate, right? So he was looking to move into that part. And he was telling me about it. And I'm like, real estate, okay, pretty cool. And I thought, I wanted to go back to school and do something because trades wasn't working for me, right? I wanted to do like a business program. Like I knew I wanted to do something with financials later on, but it would take 4 years to do it, right?
Sure.
I'm not going to wait 4 years to go and do what I want to do. So when he told me about the real estate, I was like, okay, what about the other part of it? Mortgages. Right? So I looked it up, got on the website, found the program, took the course, did it, right? And then went on from there.
We talk about this in early training when we're training agents about your financial habits are generally start very early, 8, 10, you start figuring out maybe 11, 12 from your parents and you see how they are managing money. And there's one other guy on this team, and you, right? Because you're fortunate to have parents that instill financial values, and not everybody is that lucky. And we talk about all the time how grateful you are for your parents bringing, even not necessarily sitting you down and driving those things home, but you have such a strong background of that.
Yeah, I mean, really thankful for my parents, right? And I think being here and seeing, obviously, other people, their lives, it made me realize how much more appreciative I am of them, right? I didn't realize, I thought everyone had that, right?
Yeah.
And most people in my neighborhood and such where I grew up, yes, they did have that like upgrowing, right? So I thought it was just the norm. And seeing that just makes me so much more grateful of that, right? So it's just very impactful for me.
That's one of those aha moments for most people. Even one of my business partners, when we were starting this, I remember a moment with him and I where he was reviewing a deal and he was asking questions out loud like, I don't get it. Like, why are these people doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And I said to him, you're lucky. Right? Not everybody has been taught the same thing. Not everybody learns the same way.
Yeah.
You can have all the information on a website in the world and everyone's going to read it. How many times do we teach somebody how to leverage the credit bureau and how it's working, and they right away say, no, I don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
Like, well, I've done thousands of mortgages. It works that way, and we can show you how to make it or how to benefit you the best way. So parents and what you get from that early stage is just so valuable. And I love when I'm a parent, I got lots of kids. When I hear you guys talk about, what they've put in, given you, you're just so lucky.
Yeah.
Right. So lucky. So you got a nice background from your parents. You were in electrical. That wasn't working for you. How did you get here?
So I actually got hired at a different brokerage, right? Worked there for a bit.
Okay.
When I worked there, it kind of gave me a little bit of the electrical feel, where it was very just threw you into the fire, not very team based, right? And it was very just like, okay, go have fun. I'm new. I just did my course really like a month ago, right? From when I got hired. So, I mean, everything's still fresh for me. Don't really know any guidance, nothing like that. So it was kind of just, I don't know, it wasn't really my fit. And then I went to go search other brokerages and see where, what it's kind of like out there. And then I came across Nuborrow, right? Put my resume in, got the interview, and then I met with Ali.
Yeah.
That was the first person to interview me, so that was really good. She gave me a feel of how Nuborrow is different than other brokerages, where it's very team based. Everybody's very like hands on, and that's what kind of drove me to, start here. Right? It gave me like the push in, and I was like, that's really enticing for me.
You're one of the first groups of the new process that we developed during COVID for finding and cultivating talent and starting that. You interview with me. If we can, get a read of each other and we feel like it might be a good fit, then you go on to that process of 4 or 5 people from the team, the community. And people often raise an eyebrow. I have no say. Very little, in the American Idol style post that interview, when each agent comes up and I say, well, I like this agent, or they open it with, what did you like about that agent?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, round 2 did not go like round 1. And so for me, when round 1 happened, I liked you. I'm very transparent. I didn't get that guy.
Yeah.
When you first came,
came
through, you were I remember saying to Ali, I like this kid, this guy. I like this guy.
Yeah.
Went through, but when you hit the floor, you were kind of like, maybe overwhelmed. I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, it was overwhelmed because it was like a new world for me, right?
Yeah.
It was obviously like a lot more hands-on,
and
helpful.
Lots going on.
Lots going on,
where
right?
you were before. I guess that's something we take for granted. It's intimidating here. You're doing 140 mortgages, and people are walking around talking about what we're doing and who's going on, and you're getting thrown into training or thrown up in front of everybody doing an acting
Those are the worst
skit,
things,
right? Like,
right?
Yeah.
you did that right out of the gate.
Exactly, right? And how did that go?
That's right. Well, you still did it, right? Like I always say, you can come here and you can do those things in front of your peers. You can talk to strangers.
Yeah.
That's the whole point
Yeah.
of why we do
Yeah,
it, right?
exactly.
But that had to be overwhelming, hitting the floor and suddenly from a quiet, like many brokerages, quiet kind of.
Yeah, because I mean, when you go and do the course, it's very different than what it actually is in the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when I got here, I thought it was all about products, rates, all those things.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my favorite.
And
Me too.
like I felt like I had the need to know everything.
Yeah.
So when I sat in that chair and I started, I just froze.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that like we try to take the initiative, especially in the interview process, is Adam's the face of Nuborrow, right? So meeting with Adam, you're gonna get the best face as possible. But as much as, and I say to every person I've interviewed, whoever's out here listening to
And
this,
it's not my face. Trust me.
it's not his face, but it comes down to, as much as it's important for us to like you, it's important for you to like us, right? And we're a team,
Yeah.
a collective team. So when we come in and you see 7 people, which is a huge sample of our team,
Yeah.
in an interview, not only is it important for you to get to know us, but it allows the new prospective mortgage agent to really kind of fall into their own. So you'll even, and Adam can speak to this, as we get into interviews and the first person might be like, he was a little cold, he was a little standoffish, but by the 6th person it was like, actually, I really got to know him. Like he warmed up, he said a lot of things. With you, you're even keel through and through. We all gave you a nice green check mark. But that's why we're different, is we do really think it's important that
Exactly.
not only us liking you as a potential prospect, but you really feeling you can engage and sit with us because we're that family away from home. I mean, Monday to Friday, Caruso Saturdays, you're with us a lot more than most people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So finding that fit and finding someone who not only could feed to our team, but kind of give back to the community and give back to our clients is so important.
I think it just took a little bit for me to get out of my shell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right. Once I got out of my shell and I'm able to be comfortable with everyone,
Yeah.
that's when it started to flourish. Right.
So like that was the thing for me. You don't carry yourself that way when you first meet you.
No.
Right? You look like you're gonna come in and just start flipping shit
Yeah.
around.
And then
do
he came in
something.
with turning
Yeah.
red and
Yeah.
the look of, hey, Mike,
Yeah.
instant sheet of red, but now you're good.
I think it's the unknown for me.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what gets me closed.
The unknown of what? Walk us through what unknown
Like,
is.
so when
to
I said
you.
with like the products, the rates,
Oh, right.
like that kind
Yes.
of stuff, like I feel like I had to know so much more
Yeah.
than what you actually had to know. Right. And I feel like for me, when I do something, I do want to be the best. Right. And I
Yeah.
feel like when I don't know anything and I'm not the best, I kind of just close off.
Yeah. So
Right.
what would you say is like a pivotal time in here or in this work position that you've been that you've really said like, you know what, I don't need to know everything. What was that moment for you? Did you help a client that you didn't know anything, but you learned with them? What was that moment for you?
Yeah, it was actually pretty, I want to say quite early on,
Yep.
right? From when I started here. It was a client that I was doing a purchase for, right?
Yes.
So I got in touch with him, we connected, started talking, and I didn't know like how to get to the main point, right? What to say. He was kind of just shooting at me all these ideas. He was telling me about credit, payments he has, things are getting, a little overwhelming and such. And these are all just new things I'm hearing of,
Yeah.
right? I'm not really thinking of, like property tax payments, home insurance payments, all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? That he has to deal with. He actually just had a kid, right?
Yeah.
So that was another impactful thing. I personally can't relate, right? Haven't had a kid. So
Yeah.
I didn't really understand, I guess, the financial impact of that as
Mm-hmm.
well. So he wanted to basically start a new future for his family. He wanted to get out of Toronto, right?
Okay.
And move to
Out east.
Out east, right?
I
It was
don't
New
remember.
Brunswick.
New
New Brunswick. Yeah, I
New
remember.
Brunswick.
Yeah.
So that was huge, and that was really scary to take on, right? I got comfortable with him. He was very, very like trusting of me, and that was one of the things that I kind of separated the mortgage side with it, and
Yeah.
more of like the actual emotional side with it.
Yeah.
Right. He was super trusting. He's like, "This is huge for me. This is financial. Like, I'm putting all my trust in you. Please, 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 please. Like, this has to happen."
Pressure.
Right? There's a lot of
Holy
pressure.
cow.
Right.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they packed up their entire van and were driving
Exactly. They were driving
Across the country.
to New Brunswick, and this had to close.
with all of their
On that
belongings
day.
and a
Yeah.
newborn and a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was
That's a
terrifying.
lot of pressure on
And it wasn't even.
a mortgage agent, which, by the way, I can't stand. I know we have to have that title. That is
Yeah.
not. I tell you in the interview, that is not who you are.
No.
I know.
You are a human connecting with another human, solving a problem. We
Yeah.
can't put that on our business card or our website, right? That's all you do.
Oh, sorry. And that was the change between the two, right? I thought it was all mortgages. And then once I had that client that I worked with, it was like, okay, this is what we actually do here. It's not just giving people a mortgage and purchasing a house and whatever.
Together?
Yeah, she was actually hands-on with it too.
We did. The reason being is, again, Mike was early on it, and it was something that I had experienced with a position or a client that I had previously. So I was like, listen, Mike, I'm the leader now.
Yeah.
You follow my lead, and we're going to get this done, and we're going to get him his house. Let's work together and get this done. I think we got this mortgage closed within like 3 hours of them actually arriving to this house.
I know it was close,
and getting
right?
It was very
keys.
close.
Because I remember talking to you guys.
Yeah.
And he was calling you or texting you, right?
Yeah.
Or he's
Yeah.
Well, I was actually
about to arrive.
He was in,
like right in the end of it. I was actually sick with COVID
yes.
because I came back, right?
Yeah.
Got sick and I took like the week off, and that was the week that it was super important to get this done. So me and Ali were going back and forth through calls, texts, right? I'm going back and forth through calls and texts with him. It was insane.
It was a wild one, but now to this day, he still sends us updates. I think
Yeah.
they have a second on the way. They're living their best life out east, and actually, I think they might be coming back.
I think so, yeah. Well, we planned to basically to kind of meet up and like have a drink and such, because
Nice.
it was such a huge thing for him, right? He wants to
That's
be able
amazing.
to thank me. But one thing that really stuck with me is the Christmas that just passed, right? There was a pretty big gap in between when we actually did it compared to this Christmas. And when it's Christmas, right, you wanted to like you give the wishes to like your family, your friends, all that.
Yeah.
When he sent me the text, like he had to think about sending his mortgage broker
Right?
Yeah. Isn't
That's
that
insane.
crazy?
a text
That's
saying
insane.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
pictures of his kid growing up,
So amazing.
dog, all
And
that.
it's so important because if you think about it, like we scheduled our meetings with this client around his feeding of his daughter or when his wife was home from an appointment, or there were so many moments that we were a part of and we didn't even realize how important we were at that moment.
He calls me Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
Well, his daughter calls me Uncle Mike.
What?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
He texts me. He's like Uncle Mike. I'm like, what's up, man?
Where is that in the mortgage manual when you're taking the agent course?
Yeah. Did
Exactly.
you have to write that on your test?
Right?
Nope.
That is if I was to say, to me, it's why I come in here every day, why I love being part of this team. And I genuinely do.
Yeah.
When I leave in the morning, I could probably not come in, but I would miss these stories, this opportunity to impact turn a stranger into a friend or an acquaintance and someone that they count on. For you, if someone asked you like, yeah, why do you work there? What is it about Nuborrow? What's the difference? What's your answer?
I think it's helping the people, right? I mean, when I started here again, I thought it was just mortgages. And then once I realized there's more of like an emotional impact that we're dealing with, that's what makes me want to keep on going and helping more and more and more, right? Mm-hmm. I see how fortunate I am. I want to make sure that everyone is as fortunate as that can basically maybe fix up the situation they're in, whether it's bad or not. Like maybe they want to even just do renovations, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe someone's in a good position and they want to build a playground in the backyard for their kid, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to be a part of that and help them achieve that for them, right? Make
Yeah.
memories for them.
We solve so many tough problems that are expensive problems.
Yeah.
A lot of debt piles up, a lot of ignoring it, we see a lot of situations where so much is bad news and we have to deliver so it's always nice when I ask impact stories and you come up with, hey, 3 hours before they even knew whether they were getting the mortgage or not, it closed. Those things they will be lifelong. Yeah. You have more than one. Like I
do have like quite a few.
That's one of the things. I know that once you flip that switch, you start to have more and more and more of these connections where either they think you're handsome, which I don't agree, or right, they are so appreciative of what the care that you give them.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, or it speaks to like our meaningful connections. We make meaningful connections every day, whether we mean it or not. And the clients that come to you, and some clients are like man a few words like yourself, and some clients are so appreciative. And I think that when you get a little token of appreciation, it really does pay off. And I think that when you feel that you've been appreciated, and that you've been able to help someone, it just makes you that much more inclined to want to make that with the next person.
Exactly. Keeps on going and going.
Yeah. Right. On a personal level, you're going through some physical rehab.
Yep.
Walk us down like what, and you're still here every day, right? Like you've gone through some major surgery. What's happened?
It's mentally challenging, right? Because obviously I want to, well, first let me tell you what happened, right? So I tore my ACL and the meniscus, right? They said shouldn't be walking for, let's say, usually 6 weeks, no weight bearing.
Okay.
Started walking 3 weeks in, right? Super challenging. I'm an active guy. I want to go and play sports, go to the gym, do things, right? And it's just not being able to do that, right, on my own, being able to walk, it's frustrating. I can't go and take my girlfriend out on a date and walk, let's say, I don't know, in Toronto somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't walk for very long. Like it just starts to pain. And that's I think the, what would you call it? Like the takeaway from being able to do things is the most challenging with it, right? Like the pain, yes, it hurts. Go through the rehab. I'll get better at someday, right, in the future, and hopefully get back to that. But having that taken away from me, that freedom of doing things, that's the most challenging.
So there's sometimes the team, because it's a young team, will say, well, it's hard for me to connect because I haven't had these experiences. Imagine now it happened to you on a rec league or whatever. You're married,
With kids.
2 kids, job that's hourly,
Yeah.
and now you can't. Now you're our client, right?
Exactly.
You're in that situation where you actually need guidance. Make sure you do the right thing. Your mortgage could be up for renewal. So these things you're going through now help you, believe it or not, down the road connect with someone who says, I'm on WSIB. I hurt my back at work, or I hurt. You now have that experience. You just don't have. You're fortunate enough now to not have those responsibilities
Exactly.
that impact. So when you touched on the top of the episode where people come to us because they're in a difficult situation, and you can beforehand you can wonder like, oh, how would you ever get there?
Yeah.
It's easy to get there, right? You're
Just going for a run.
fit, active guy, right? Playing a sport on the weekend, and
then boom,
right?
If I had kids, a family, a mortgage, right, all this stuff.
I think even just being young and in the industry, like there's a lot of parallels to our everyday life with our clients. So that's where empathy comes in huge, where it's, you know what? I don't have kids, but I remember that when I was growing up, I don't think my parents could say, hey, boys, you're not playing hockey this week.
Yeah.
Or you're not playing hockey this season because we can't, right? So the sacrifices on the background, you've had to sacrifice in your life physically, whereas some of our clients are sacrificing financially every single day.
Exactly.
For themselves, for their families, for their future, for their kids' future. So it becomes so multi-layered. And when it comes down to it, we haven't lived long enough to really experience something that someone may have, right? So leading with that empathy and really finding parallels allows us to engage with our clients. So this is just an added thing to your story that'll allow you to connect with the client to their story.
Exactly. Deeper, make those connections.
I'm going to wrap it up with how I normally do it on Agents and Pieces, and letting you know how grateful I am for you, but for the fact that you took the bull by the horns. I'm not going to cry and flip the switch. I challenge everybody in here to do that. Not everybody takes the initiative and does it. And some of the things you shared with me, like setting standards for yourself, setting the groundwork for your life, and how important that is to you, and those no budge on moments, and sharing those with people in your life to see if they're on the same page. Like that stuff takes a lot of guts. So I'm proud of you that you took that step.
Well, I'm very grateful that you were able to show me that.
And just didn't say it, you did it.
Yeah.
Right. So many more great years to come. Keep making clients happy and meeting tight deadlines.
Add to that uncle list.
And I appreciate you being a guest today on Agents and Pieces, brother. And we'll catch you next time.
It was awesome being here.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Okay, bye.